So ito, let's start with our additional material for BAPE7 Quizignment number 4. So basically itong itong Quizignment number 4, no, this is where tawag ito, consolidation of financial statements, ano, yung discussion natin under PFRS 10. So basically additional material naman to, explanation ng Quizignment natin for this topic. Now, as we know, PFRS 3, dyan nagbigin yung life ng business combination. Ang nangyari sa Conso, dyan yung continuation. So, without further ado, diretso tayo sa problems. Diba? Ito, problem number 1. So, true or false? So, the basis for consolidation, ano daw? Is power. No, the basis is control. Yan yung basis. Yan yung primary basis ng consolidation. Na si parent, may control kay subsidiary. Number 2, entity A acquires entity B on November 1, 2001. The 2001 consolidated profit includes entity B's profit from January 1 to December 31. It is as if control daw has already existed for the entire year. That is false. Why? Anong sabi ni PFRS 10? Diba? You only record consolidation when control is obtained and you cease or stop recording the consolidation when the control ceases to exist. Na nag-start man yung control November 1, dun ka mag-start ng consolidation mo. Number 3, goodwill is measured to fair value at each reporting date. That is false because at each reporting date, the goodwill is measured at acquisition date fair value less the accumulated impairment losses. Alam naman natin si goodwill, di ba? Favorite na favorite yan pagdating sa impairment. So itong mga follow na to, basic na lang to, di ba? Ito basic na lang yan sila. The NCI net assets of a subsidiary is presented in the consolidated financial statements as a mezzanine. Mezzanine, that is false. Mezzanine item. Di ba? Kasi it is the NCI in the net assets of the subsidiary. Yeah? The NCI is presented in the equity portion ng FS ni parent but separate. Diba? Ganun yung presentation kay NCI. Goodwill is attributed both to the owners of the parent and the non-controlling interest only if the non-controlling interest are measured at fair value. Kasi pagdating sa proportionate method, diba? As we have discussed sa ating business combination, buong buo na pupunta kay parent. Kasi kung ano, proportionate method, kung ano sa NCI, ganun din yung, diba yung sa box natin? Yeah? The amount of goodwill attributed to non-controlling interest is included in the measurement of non-controlling interest in the subsidiary net assets. That is true. So, madali na true or false. Walang dyan. Itong classroom discussion, discuss to doon sa diba? Proceed tayo sa number 5. So, number 5, problem number 5, multiple choice. Yeah? So, according to PFRS 10, consolidation of FS, alin daw dito yung tama? Yeah? Una, a parent entity is required to consolidate its subsidiaries. Yes, obviously. Kita nyo naman dito, di ba? Letter A, basa natin. A parent entity is encouraged but not required. No, they are required. Tag dito? A parent needs, di ba? A parent needs kasi singular. A parent need not consolidate a subsidiary if the subsidiary's business is different from that of the parent. Di, kahit different yan, ang importante naman yung control, di ba? Kung ganyan yung case, yung mga conglomerates, di ba? Yung mga malaking company sa maraming subsidiaries, hindi sila magre-report. No, that's BS. Kahit different ang business, report pa rin. And letter D, a parent entity is required to consolidate its subsidiaries only for internal. No. So letter A. So which of the following is not an element of control? Yeah? Power, exposure price to variable returns, major holdings, ability to affect return. Letter C, yung hindi dyan. One of the essential elements of control is power. Power. Yeah? According to PFRS 10, an investor has power kung ano. The investor holds more than half of the outstanding shares of the investee. The investor has existing rights that gives it the current ability to direct the investees. Relevant. Yeah? relevant activities. Letter C, the investor's interest in the earnings of the investee is not fixed but rather varies depending on the level of earnings and investor Kelly is bad. Mahina na kita Zeus kay Kelly. So, ang answer dito is letter B. Diba? Control is power. The right to, direct. Diba? The current ability to direct the investor's relevant activities in such a way that such relevant activities will be beneficial to subsidiary. Kasi kung beneficial yan kay subsidiary, beneficial yan kay parent. In which of the following instances does entity A have control over entity B? So, si entity A holds a majority of the shares of entity B. The major holdings entitle entity A to voting rights that relate solely to administrative tasks. Entity A holds 90% interest kay entity B. Now, entity A's interest in the earnings of entity B is fixed at 10% per aggregate value. And letter C. Entity A holds a major or a majority of the shares of entity B and is entitled to a variable return on entity B's share. So, the relevant activities of entity B are directed by third party unrelated. So, walang control sa entity A. So, letter D tayo. Baka ito ng answer. Entity A is the ultimate boss of entity B. Entity A makes all the major decisions and earns profit. The most if entity B earns profit but suffers the most if loss naman yung na-incur ni entity B. So, obviously, the answer is letter D. In which of the following instances does entity A have control over entity B? Yeah? Entity A have been unilateralized, directing the relevant activities of entity A. Entity A's rights are considered protective. Entity A has the right to direct the relevant activities of entity but only in accordance with the direct. So, under si entity A kay entity C. So, entity A has the right to direct entity B's relevant activities, is exercisable only upon the occurrence of a contingency. So, may conditional. Letter D. Entity A holds a 30-day forward contract to buy a majority of entity B's voting rights. The contract can be cancelled in the shareholders meeting. A shareholders meeting will be held in a 3 months time. Anong tanong? In which of the following instances does entity A have control over entity B? So, the answer is letter D. So, entity A acquires 80% interest in entity B on December 31, 2000. How much of the entities? Basahin nyo lang to. Paulit-ulit lang to sila. Yeah? Punta tayo sa problems kasi duman kayo interesado sure ako. Kung may questions ulit kayo dito sa sa multiple choice, chat nyo lang ako sa Teams. So, yan. Blackout kanina. Blackout na kahapon half day. Tapos blackout ulit kanina dun sira yung... So anyways, ito yung labada ko. Baka hindi matuyo agad. Yawa samsil ko. Ito man naglalaban na yun ako. Tapos bigla nagpatay yung kuryente. Sayang yung washing machine. So problem number 6. Multiple choice, computational. So, si Jeepco acquired 60% interest in Taxico on January 1, 2001. So, information, basta Jeepco dito yung parent, si Taxico ang subsidiary, 60%, January 1 yung acquisition date. So, tawag dito, business combination, information on the combining entities accounts right after the business combination as follows. So, ito kay Jeepco, ito kay Taxico, yeah? Other assets, 129644, investment subsidiary, etc. So, ito, additional information. Taxis net assets have a fair value of 310,000. While the NCI is measured at a fair value of 240K. So, tanong, how much the consolidated total assets? Na kung babalikan yung yung discussion natin, lecture video, o yung PowerPoint mismo, nandun yung yung formula ng consolidated total asset. So, follow na lang, di ba? Kaya dito sa side, di ba? Total assets of parents, di ba? 296 and the 360, di ba? Kasi total assets man, ang investment subsidiary, asset naman yan, di ba? So, total assets, 1296 plus 360, 1656. Total asset of the subsidiary, 444. Ngayon, investment in subsidiary, tanggalin mo. Diba? Parang inad mo dito, tatanggalin mo ulit. So, huwag mo lang Pero ganun talaga. Follow the procedure. Diba? As I have said, sa lecture video, ng basta business combination, kahit hindi mo get yung logic, basta mafa-follow mo yung procedure ng business combination, tataas yung chances mo of being able to answer the problem. Kasi ganun si business combination. Very, very procedural. CPFRS 3 and CPFRS 10. So kahit hindi mo get yung logic, hindi mo makuha yung anong sense niya sa buhay, pero kapag kabisado mo yung procedure on how to do, how to solve, di ba? Makukuha mo yung answer. At least magigets mo yung answer. So yan, just follow the procedure kung nahihirapan ka. Di ba? Ilang beses ko yan inulit dun sa mga lecture videos, ilang beses ko yan ulit-ulitin pagdating sa business combination and consolidation of financial statements. Just follow the procedure if hindi nyo magets yung labot niya sa buhay, di ba? So yun, fair value adjustments, net 310, 34A, ito, fair value adjustment, yung net 310, di ba? Yan yung assets, yan yung net assets, yan yung fair value ng net assets ni, Taxico, si 310. Then yung investment, then yung ito yung net assets carrying amount, 348, net, yeah, negative 38. Ako'y nantok. So, goodwill computation, nandito sa baba, di ba? Consideration of goodwill equal to investment in subsidiaries. Then may NCI tayo. Measure that fair value to 40. Wala tayong previously held interest. So, yung total, FVNA natin, 310. So, goodwill natin is 290. So, lagay mo yan dito. Yeah? So, yun. Add mo na lang. Consolidated total net assets natin, 1992. 1,992. Diba? No sweat. Ganyan. Procedural. And tandaan, di ba? Tinatanggal yan sina investment in subsidiary. Kasi nga, pag separate FS, okay, nandiyan yan sila. Pero pag consolidated na, tanggalin mo na yan. Kasi nonsense na yan siya. Di ba? As what was explained in the lecture video. Kasi nga, consolidated na yan sila. Combined na. So, there's no sense in putting it there. Pag conso. So, number 2 tayo. Use the following informations for the next 2 questions. String Corp acquired 80% of Win Corp voting rights. So, the statement of financial position of both entities immediately after the acquisition are shown below. Ito kay Strings, si parent, and si Winco, the subsidiary. So, investment in subsidiary at cost, 430. Yung other assets nila, ito, total assets nilang dalawa, liabilities, ordinary share capital, retained earnings, liabilities, and stockholders' equity. So, the fair value of Win's asset is 50K, more than the aggregate carrying amount. So, alam mong sa net na yan, di ba? Sa net ng fair value adjustment. Non-controlling interest is measured under the proportionate method. Proportionate method dito. So, ito, next 2 questions. How much is the consolidated total assets and what is the breakdown of the consolidated total equity? So, similar lang gagawin. Diba? Total assets ni parent. Yeah, 2 million. To. Total assets subsidiary, 750. Investment subsidiary, tanggalin mo. Nonsense na. Consolidating na natin to. Kino-combine na. Ito naman, fair value of the assets is 50,000 more than the aggregate carrying amount. So, positive. And yung goodwill computation dito sa baba, 413, yung consolidation transferred. NCI, anong sabi? Non-controlling interest is measured under the proportionate method. So, since 80% yung in-acquire na share ni Slings Corp, so yung NCI, alam natin, 20% siya. Diba? So, yan, 80,000. Wala tayong previously held interest. So, total, 510. Then, yung FBNA natin, diba? Yung FBNA natin, 310K. $310K plus the 40K retained earnings, equity, and yung fair value adjustment. Yeah? So, 400,000. So, ang goodwill natin, 110. Lagay mo yun dito. So, solve. Yeah? 3,248, 2,480. Ngayon, ang tanong sa number 3, what is the breakdown? Break it down, yo. Of the consolidated total equity. So, yan. Owners of the parent, 1 million share capital, total equity man, and yung kanyang retained earnings. So 1.25 million na kay owners of the parent. So wala natin yan, 1.25. Uy, tatlo yung 1.25. So yung sa NCI, magkano? Nandito nga sa taso, 400k, ba? Times 20%, that's 80,000. So yun, 80,000, letter B. Ba? 80,000. Andito lang. Yeah? Letter B. O, di ba? No sweat. So, let's go to the next number. So, dito tayo, di ba? Sa, use the following information for the next 9 questions. So, 9 questions to. So, on January 1, 2001, Square ko acquired 80% interest in Circle ko. So, si Square ko ang parent, si Circle ko ang subsidiary. Now, on acquisition date, Circle's net identifiable assets have a carrying amount of 296,000. So, carrying amount yan. Hindi pa yan hindi pa yan fair value. So, Circle's identifiable assets approximated their fair values. Okay, goods. Except for inventory na kung saan may carrying amounts of 92k pero yung kanyang fair value is 124. So, mag-adjust tayo, di ba? And meron din, isa pa, equipment na may carrying amount of 160,000 and a fair value of 192,000. So, mas malaki yung fair value nila compared sa kanilang carrying amount. So, the remaining useful life of the equipment is 4 years. So, NCI was measured using the proportionate share method. So, information on December 31, 2001 is as follows. So, Square ko, Circle ko, so ito yung mga December 31 to. So, cash, inventory, investment in subsidiary, equipment net, total assets, liability, share capital, retained earnings, total equity, or also known as net assets. Diba? Ito naman yung kanilang income and expenses for the year. Now, take note, no dividends were declared by either entity during 2001. There were also no intercompany transactions and no impairment of goodwill. Kasi nga, di ba, as said kanina or sa lecture video, yung intercompany transactions, yan yung honest lang. Yan yung pinaka-tricky part pagdating sa business combination. Diyan yung mapapa-analyze ka talaga sa intercompany transactions and as you know, di ba? Sa consolidation part 2 yan siya. Sa consolidation part 2. Itong sa consolidation part 1, yung mga basics lang muna, di ba? Wala basics lang muna ng conso. Yung mga nangyayari ng acquisition date as what was said, di ba? But anyways, itong question. So, basically, ang mangyayari dito, gagawin yung mga steps, di ba? Yung step 1, analysis ng subsidiaries net asset. Step 2, goodwill computation. Step 3, yun, di ba? NCI in the net asset. Step 4, consolidated retained earnings. And step 5, conso, profit or loss. So, dito sa step 1 muna. Step by step. So, question number 4 for the next 9, di ba? 9 questions ba yun? Oh, next 9 questions. So, how much is the net change in the fair value of the subsidiaries net assets since the acquisition date? So, magkano daw yung change, di ba? Sa FB&A ni subsidiary from the acquisition date up to the reporting period or the ending of the reporting period. So, as you can see, nung acquisition date, saan yun? Nung acquisition date, ang carrying amount ng net assets ni Circle, the subsidiary, is 296,000. Ba? 296,000. Na kung saan, approximated the fair values except sa inventory and sa equipment. Now, with that said, diba? Punta tayo dito. Sa letter A na to. Ito yung inventory, diba? Sabi, 92k siya. Ito naman si equipment. Sabi, 160k yung kanyang carrying amount. Now, since we're following the fair value pagdating ng acquisition date, diba? Fair value ang pina-follow natin. Fair value, acquisition date, fair value. So, kailangan i-adjust mo siya. So, from being 92, naging 24. From 160, naging 192. So with that, magkano ang naging fair value adjustment nila? Di ba? Nag-increase ng 32 sa inventory, nag-increase ng 32 sa equipment. So yun, 64K yung dinagdag. Kaya nandito yan, 64K. Di ba? 64K. Ngayon, sige, add mo na yan. Since nagkaroon ng fair value adjustments of increasing the value of the net asset. So, yung net assets mo at fair value during the acquisition date or at the acquisition date is 360,000. Ngayon, ang tinatanong sa atin is kung ano yung naging net change from the acquisition date to the end of the reporting period. So, yan, dito, ang sabi, kung titingnan mo dito sa as of the end of the reporting period, December 31, 2001, yung net assets ni subsidiary circle ko is 376. Kasi diba, equity basically net assets. So yan, 376. So ngayon, hanapin mo na yung fair value adjustment. Ano nang nangyari sa inventory? Ano nang nangyari sa equipment mo? So ito, diba? Ito yung fair value adjustment. Diba? Titingnan mo dito. Ito yung fair value adjustment nung acquisition date, January 1. 32, di ba? Ito yan sila, 32, 64. Ngayon, si inventory, wala yan siya, walang mangyari, di ba? As we have said, ang assumption, si inventory, nabenta na lahat. Kaya wala na siyang fair value adjustment as of the end of the reporting period. Kasi ang assumption, nabenta na siya. Sa equipment naman, may 4 years remaining useful life siya as of that acquisition date. Yeah? So yun, 32,000 divided by the useful life, 8,000 depreciation. So 32 minus 8, 24 na lang yung value ng equipment. Hence, dito, 24, 376, 24K. So 400 na lang yung net assets at fair value as of December 31, 20 X1. So yun, nung acquisition date, 360 ang fair value ng net assets ni subsidiary. Ngayon, as of the end of the reporting period, 400 na. So, nagkaroon ng net change, nag-increase ng 40,000. 40,000. Yeah? 40,000. So, that is letter, D. Increase of 40,000. Dito pala, Diba? Just follow the procedure. Wala kang magiging problema. So number 5, what amount of goodwill is reported in the December 31, 2001 Conso financial statement? So goodwill computation. So consideration transferred, magkano? 300, investment subsidiary. Ito yan. Next, yung NCI natin and yung previously held interest. May NCI ba tayo? As of the tawag dito? 360K. Diba? Diba ito? Carrying amount plus yung fair value adjustment. Yung FB&A mo is 360K. So, dito 360K. Ang in-acquire lang naman is 80%. So, NCI mo is 20%. With that, 360K times 20%, 72,000. Previously held interest, wala. And yung FB&A mo, diba? Fair value of net identifiable assets acquired, 360K. So, ang goodwill mo, 12,000, di ba? Yung tinuro ko rin yung style, yung gagawa ka ng table, di ba? Kung gusto yung trip mo, ano yun? Parent, hindi, total, parent, NCI, ito yung cost of investment, FB&A, tapos kung goodwill or gain on bargain purchase, di ba? Kanya-kanyang trip lang yan. Kung saan kayo mas mas komportable mag-answer, anong formula, edi nang gamitin nyo, di ba? Consideration transferred, 300K. Diba? NCI. Yung FB&A. FB&A, 360. So, tawag dito. Ano sinabi sa yung proportionate share. 372. FBNA of net identifiable asset acquired 300. Consideration. 372 dapat yun dito. Then NCI 72, 300, 360. Proportionate method, so 72 dito. Yeah. So 72 minus, okay. Siyempre, kailangan calcu yan para sure. So ito, 360 minus 72, 288. So, dito 0. Kasi nga, kung proportionate share, walang share si NCI sa goodwill. So, dito 300 minus 288, 12. Yeah? Ganyan, kanya-kanyang clip kung saan kayo masadalian. Wala yung problema. Importante na intindihan nyo. O alam nyo yung ginagawa nyo. So, saan yun? Ay, ano yung tanong? What amount of goodwill is reported in the December 31, 2001 Conso financial statements? The answer is 12,000, letter A. So, number 6, what amount of goodwill is attributed to non-controlling interest on December 31, 2001? Gaya na sabi natin, ito, di ba? Wala. Kasi nga, proportionate share. Number 7, how much is the consolidated total assets as of December 31, 2020x1? So, just do it. Total asset ni parent, 1672. Diba? Total asset si subsidiary, 496. Minus the investment ni subsidiary, diba? 300. Fair value adjustment, diba? As of December 31, 2001. Magkano? 24,000. Oh, ito yung nasolve natin, 24,000. Increase. And yung goodwill as computed above, ito. So, ano yan? Bang. Yeah? Bang. Ganun lang. Consolidated total asset natin is 1904. Letter C. Now, let's go to number 8. So, number 8. Anin? NCI daw in the net assets, di ba? So, ano yung natin? Ano yung fair value na ng net asset si subsidiary as of December 31, 2001? As of December 31, 2001. Kinumpit naman natin sa step 1 pa lang. Yeah? Sana yun, no? Ito, December 31, 2001, ang fair value ng net assets ni subsidiary, yeah? 1376 plus 24, 400. And since, di ba? And since 80% lang yung in-acquire ni parent. So 20% doon is the NCI. Sa kanila yon. So 400 times 20%. Non-controlling interest in the net assets as of the end of the reporting period as of December 31, 2020x1, 80,000. That is letter B. Ito naman. Punta tayo sa step 4. Sa tanong ni number 9. How much is the consolidated retained earnings on December 31, 2020x1? So, consolidated retained earnings, just follow the formula. Diba? Parents retained earnings as of the end of the period. Ano? 440. Yun, 440. Parent share in the net change in subsidiaries net assets. Ha? Parents share in the net change in subsidiaries net assets. So, ito. Tingin daw sa letter D. So, net change in the subsidiaries net assets, 40K. Saan na galing? Sa step 1 rin, di ba? Magkakakonect lang yan sila. 40K. Ito, itong change na to. Ha? Magkakakonect lang yan. So, sa net change na yan, ilan yung attributable kay parent? 40K yung naging net change, 80% yung ownership ni parent. So yun, 32,000. So lagay mo dito ang 32,000. So yun na. Parents retained earnings, parents share in the net change in subsidiary net asset. Diyan mo yung kino-close. So consolidated retained earnings, 472, which is letter C. Diba? Minsan pag napaka-procedural, nagiging boring siya, di ba? Nagiging boring pag procedural. Pero, at least, pag na-feel mo na boring man to, ibig sabihin, na-gets mo na. Di ba? Nakabisado mo na, natansya mo na. So, pag naisip nyo na ay, boring man to ibig sabihin, na-gets nyo na. Yun yung maganda doon. So, how much is the consolidated total equity on December 31, 2001 attributed to the following? So, yung share capital ni parent, magkano yun? 940 plus yung kanyang retained earnings, hindi lang 440 but also the consolidated retained earnings kasi ang hinahanap, di ba? Ang hinahanap sa number 10, consolidated total equity. Combine na. So, yung owners of parents, 1,412,000. Yeah? And yung non-controlling interest, 80K. Di ba? Ito sa kanila, 80K. 80K. So, yun, combine mo, total equity, 1,492 or 1,492,000. Di ba? Anong sabi natin sa non-controlling interest pag pinipresent siya, di ba? Kasama sa equity portion, pero separate. Ngayon dito. Diba? Kasama sa equity, pero dapat separately labeled. Ito yung sa NCI, 80,000. Yeah? And lastly, let's go to step 5. How much is the consolidated profit in 2001? Diba? Pinakita dito yung profit nila. Income ni Square parent, 1 million minus 400, 600,000. Si Circle naman, the subsidiary, 200K minus 120 equals 80. So, ang pinapahanap sa atin, yung kanyang consolidated profit or loss. So, profits of parent and subsidiary, 600 plus 80, minus the depreciation of the FBA. Hala sir, bakit ganyan? Bakit minus yung depreciation ng fair value adjustment? Diba? Na-explain naman to sa lecture video, pero sabihin natin na ulit ngayon. Diba? Okay. Ano sabihin ko? Diba? Ganito. Ang na-record mo sa books, ito, sa equipment, ang na-record mo sa books, diba? Sa separate books is 160. Ngayon, kapag di-depreciate mo yan by 4 years, diba? Magkano lang? Magkano lang pag i-depreciate mo ng 4 years yan? Wala, namatay ng aking calcio. Hala ka, wala na calcio ko. Hala ka, shit. Battery. It served me well. So, let's use na the calcio of this. Diba? Ulit natin. Diba? On the separate books, ang nirecord mo 160. So, pag i-depreciate mo yan ng remaining 4 years, that is 40. Pero, pagdating sa consolidation kasi, anong ginagamit natin? Yung kanyang fair value, di ba? Yung kanyang fair value. Na yung kanyang fair value is 192,000. O, divide mo by 4. So, dapat yung nirecord mong depreciation niya is 48. Alam namin na depreciation, di ba? Expense yan. Nagbabawas yan ng profit natin. Yeah? Binabawasan niya yung profit natin. Kasi expense eh. So, ang problema kasi dyan, ang na-record lang sa books is yung 40,000. Where in fact, pagdating ng consolidation, dapat ang nire-record is 48. Kasi pagdating sa consolidation, acquisition date fair value ang ginamit, so dapat 48 yung depreciation na i-record. So, kinulang ka. Magkano kinulang mo? 8. Di ba? 8 yung kulang mo. Di ba? So, dapat, bawasan mo pa ng additional 8 yung iyong profit. Kasi kinulang ka ng 8,000 depreciation expense. Kasi nga, consolidation na yan. Consolidation na yan. Dito naman sa inventory, anong ginagawa natin pag nabibentang inventory? Cost of goods sold. Basically, cost of goods sold is what? Expense. Diba? Binabawasan ng revenue mo. Diba? Sales, revenue, minus cost of goods sold. Ibig sabihin, equals to gross profit, gross revenue, minus operating expense. Diba? So, in this case, ang ni-record mo lang na inventory sa iyong separate FS is 92, where in fact, it should be 124. Diba? So, pag i-record mo yung cost of goods sold mo, and yan, ulitin natin, ang cost of goods sold, binabawasan yung revenue, binabawasan yung profit. So, ang na-record mo lang is 92. Where in fact, ang dapat na record mo, pag i-consolidate na yan, is 124. Diba? 124. So, understated. Diba? Or, not sa understated ang expense mo, which would mean that the income is overstated. So, kailangan mong bawasan yan. And considering ang assumption is yung inventory na benta na for the year, kaya dito ang depreciation, ang ginamit na word 32K, where in fact, basically that's COGS, di ba? Hence, itong 40K, since overstated ang inventory, ang profit by 40K, ang conso profit by 40K, yun, dito, tinanggal. Di ba? Kasi kinulang ng recording. Kinulang ng recording ng 8K depreciation, kinulang ng recording ng 32K COGS. Ha? Ganun kasimple. Logic lang yan. Kailangan intindihin. Kasi nga, yes, business combination is very procedural, pero mas na-appreciate mo siya kapag naintindihan mo yung logic. You're an accountant. Di ba? You're an accountant. Use your analytical skills. So, yun. Owners of parent, saan tayo dito? Owners of parent, 600K. Ito na yung, ano na? So, parents profit before the fair value adjustment, the 600K, NCI, walang share dyan sa kay parent. Share in the subsidiaries profit before, fair value adjustment, 80K, hati sila, 80%, 20%. Depreciation of the FBA, 32K, 8K, hati din sila, 40K. So, total, 62, 8K, 640, basic na lang yan. Ang importante, na-explain yung logic. Sana yan? Number, so that's 6, how much is the consolidated profit? That is 640,000. Letter C. And, lastly, how is the consolidated profit attributed to the following? So, ano kay owners, ano kay parent, ano kay owners, ano kay NCI. So, dito na, 62 kay NCI, kay parent, and 8,000 kay NCI. So, letter B. So, yun. Next question tayo. Or next group of question. 8 sila. Okay. So, dito tayo sa use the following information for the next 8 questions. So, on January 20X1, Original Co. acquired 60% ng interest in Pirated Incorporated for 360,000. So, information on Pirated si subsidiary, financial position, on acquisition date is as follows. So, the identifiable asset and liabilities approximated their fair values. Except, so ito may except tayo. May fair value adjustment tayo. For inventories with a carrying amount of 144, pero yung fair value, mas mababa, 96,000. So, negative magiging effect niyan. So, and a building na may carrying amount of 240,000 pero yung fair value niya is 250. So, yung building may remaining useful life of 8 years. So, Pirated retained earning was 48K. Non-controlling interest is measured at a fair value of 240,000. Now, additional information for 2001. So, the investment in subsidiaries measured at cost. Pirated Co. did not issue additional shares. So, mahalaga yan. All the inventories on January 1, 2001 were sold. So, alam mo yung effect yan sa depreciation, di ba? Sa COGS. So, no dividends, intercompany transactions, or impairment of goodwill happened. Kasi nga, sa consolidation part 2, part 3, part 4 pa yan. Yeah. So, a summary of the individual financial information of the entities on December 31, 2001 is shown below. Ito kay Original Co, si parent, Pirated Co, si subsidiary. Total assets nila, total liabilities, share capital, wala nag-change, retained earnings. Ito naman yung kanilang sales, cost of sales, other operating expenses, profit for the year. So, ito yung mga questions natin. 8 ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. So, una, Pero basically, ang gagawin natin, yung stepping, ito, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So, ano yun? How much? Number 13 tayo. Sa numero 13. How much is the goodwill attributable to non-controlling interest as of December 31, 2001? So, yung, ano ulit? Goodwill attributable kay NCI. So, step 1 tayo. Analysis of the subsidiary's net asset. So, ito. Ano yung net asset? Yung carrying amount ng net asset for January 1 and December 31. January 1 being the date of acquisition, December 31 being the reporting date, di ba? Ngayon, hindi stated. However, you can infer from the problem. Ano-ano? Di ba? Ang retained earnings was 48. Ito pa, Pirated Co did not issue any additional shares. So alam mo yung share capital as it is since the beginning. So that is 300,000. So alam mo na, 300,000 plus the retained earnings as of the acquisition date, 48,000. So yan yung magiging, yan yung carrying amount noong January 1 acquisition date ng iyong net assets or ni Pirated Co. So ngayon, fair value adjustment tayo. Ang sabi dito, approximated the fair values except for inventories in building. So dito, di ba? Sa inventory, ang kanyang carrying amount was 144. Pero, fair value niya is only 96. So, mas mababa. Negative ang effect. Kaya dito, negative 48. Kasi nga, 144 ang carrying amount, pero ang fair value is only 96. Mas mababa, di ba? So, yun, 48. Then, yung building, 214 carrying amount, pero yung fair value is 250. So, goods, mas mataas, positive. So, net, 38,000. Negative 38. So, nilagay mo dito. Negative 38. So, 348 minus negative 38. Ang iyong net assets fair value as of the acquisition date, 310,000. Pero ang tinatanong, net change. Ang hinahanap dito sa table na to for step 1, net change. So, ngayon, punta tayo sa ending. Diba? Sa ending ng period. December 31, 20x1. So, ngayon, yung net assets, yung carrying amount ng net assets ni subsidiary is already 418. 418 na. So, dito yan, 418. Ngayon, anong fair value adjustments meron tayo? So, ang assumption, di ba? Dito tayo ngayon. Ang assumptions, ang inventories na benta na. So, yung inventories mo, cost of goods sold na yan, expense na yan. So, yan, parak. Wala na yan siyang fair value adjustment as of 12/31, December 31. Ngayon, ang iyong building, yeah? Ang iyong building, 240 nasa separate books. Pero, pagdating ng consolidation, as we have explained numerous times, yeah? Pagdating ng acquisition, ng consolidation, kung ano yung value niya nung acquisition date fair value, yun yung gagamitin mo sa iyong consolidation. Oh, 250k naman, di ba? 250k yung kanyang value nung acquisition date. Edi yun ang gagawin mo, yun ang gagamitin mo. Di ba? Kaya dito, yun. Ngayon, take note ulit, di ba? Ano lang. Reminder, repetition, para tumatak sa isip nyo. Di ba? Anong reason bakit ganito nag-adjustment? Kasi di ba, sa separate financial statements sila, ayos lang, 240k. So, divide by 8, di ba? Divide by 8. Saan si calcu? Para tumatak sa isip nyo. Yeah? Divided by 8. So, ang nire-record na depreciation was 30k. Okay lang yan pag separate books. Pero pagdating ng consolidation, medyo dehado tayo. Medyo may problema tayo. Bakit? Kasi nga, sa consolidation for PFRS 3 and PFRS 10, kung ano yung value nung acquisition date for value, yung gagamitin mo sa yung consolidation. Na anong acquisition date? 250k naman ang ginamit kasi per value. So, ang problema, ang ni-record mo lang na depreciation is only 30k. Separate books, goods. Pero pag consolidation, inappropriate. Kasi dapat, hindi nabasa yung 30k. It should be 31,025 na. 31,250. So, yung nire-record mo lang is 30K, pero pagdating ng consolidation, it should be 31,250 na. So, yung difference na yan, i-record mo. I-acknowledge mo. Kaya dito, di ba, 1,250. So, yun. If fair value adjustment natin, 8,750 for 1231, yan na. Yeah, logic, please, analyze. Look for the logic. Hanapan mo ng, hanapan mo ng sense. Yeah? So, dito, 8,750 na siya. So, for December 31, 2011. December 31, 2011. Ang iyong net assets or fair value ng iyong net assets, ang iyong FVNA is 426,750. So, that is a net change from the acquisition date to the end of the reporting period. Di ba? Ang change is 116,750. However, hindi yan ang hinahanap ng problem. Ang hinahanap ng problem, ano yung goodwill mo na attributable sa iyong NCI. So, we will go to step 2, goodwill computation. Ngayon, di ba? Ang sabi dito, non-controlling interest mo measured at fair value amount 240K. So, hindi sa proportionate share. So, alam mong, yung NCI, most probably, may goodwill attributable sa kanya. Ngayon, there are two ways to solve this. Iba, yung isa yung table na present ko last time, and ito. So, dito tumama tayo. So, ito, consideration transfer, 360,000. Yeah? 360,000. Previously held interest, wala. Pansin nyo, ginamp yung NCI. So, yun, prerogative kasi style niya. Total, 360. So, yan total, less parents' proportionate share in the net asset of the subsidiary. Parents' proportionate share in the net assets of the subsidiary. So, ito yun, 310K times 60%. Kasi yan yung kanyang share. 60% yung in-acquire niya eh. So, yun. 186, goodwill attributable to owners of the parent, 174. So, with that said, fair value of the NCI, yeah, 240K. 240K, yeah. Fair value of the NCI, 240K. NCI's proportionate share in the net assets of subsidiary, 310K. Pero 40% na lang sa kanya. Kasi NCI, di ba? 60% kay parent, 40% kay NCI. So, minus na lang, 240 minus 124, goodwill attributable to the NCI is 116,000. Yeah, 116,000. And with that, 174 plus 116, 290 yan siya. Ngayon, ito naman pinapakita sa baba to reconcile lang yung typical na ginagamit. Diba? 360 minus 240, the fair value of the NCI. Walang PHI, total 600, FVNA natin, di ba? 310, so goodwill 290, similar na dito. Ngayon, kung gagamitin natin table na yung other way na pinapresent ko last time pa, yeah? Ganito lang yan. Total, parent, NCI, lagyan na dito ng marking, 60%, yeah? Ito, 40%. Cost of investment, FVNA, fair value net asset, fair value of the net assets, and goodwill. So, di ba? Ito, kung itong clip nyo, edi kanya-kanyang clip lang yan. Walang problema. Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi, ya. So, yun. Anyways, ano ang ating, okay? Ano ang ating consolidation na transfer, di ba? 360. Fair value ni NCI, 240. Diba? 240. So, add mo yan. 360 plus 240, 600. Ngayon, ano ang ating fair value? Ano ang ating FVNA total? That is 310. Diba? 310. So, calcu. So, 310 times 60%. Kasi ito, diba? So, 186. Ang remaining, 40%. Yeah? 124. So, 240 minus 124. Yeah? That's 116. Obo. Yeah? Ito naman. 360 minus 186. 174. O, add mo sila. Plus 116. 290. O, di ba? Pareho. O, bang, bang. Diba? So, kung gusto nyo itong gamitin, edi yung gamitin nyo. Kung gusto nyo ganitong gamitin, edi ganyan. Pero for me, personally, lalo sa aming taga-Alzo, mas gusto namin to. Bakit? Kasi mas organized tingnan eh. Pero kanya-kanyang trip na lang yan. Ang ginagawa ko lang naman is to present you other ways na hindi lang kung ano yung nasa book ni Zeus, but also other ways na pwede yung gawin. Sa amin mga taga-Alzo, ito yung ginagamit namin. Diba? Kanya-kanyang tip na lang yan. Ang importante, mag-gets nyo. So yan, 116 ang sagot, attributable to the NCI, letter B. So, number 14 tayo. Ang question sa 14, what is the consolidated total assets? So, typical na ginagawa natin, di ba? 1,1 total assets, di ba? 1,550,000. Total assets subsidiary, 550, minus mga investment subsidiary of 360,000. Then, fair value adjustment, yeah? Fair value adjustment natin, dito, saan yun? Saan si fair value adjustment? Ito, ay, saan yun? Na, fair value adjustment as of December 31. So, goodwill natin, as solved yun, di ba? Yung sa baba, 290. So, solve lang, bang. 2,038,750. Number 14 to, no? Number 14, 2,038,750. Ito, letter C. Number 15, anong hinahanap? How much is the NCI in net assets as of December 31, 2000? X1. Non-controlling interest in the net assets. So, yun. So, typical lang. Same lang sigagawa natin paulit-ulit na. Subsidiaries net asset at fair value for 26,750. Nasa, bakit? Ito, nasa baba, di ba? FVNA natin as of December 31, 20X1. Ang tinatanong sa atin, how much is the NCI sa net assets? So, that's number, ano yun? 15, no? O, times 40%, total. 170,700 plus the goodwill that is attributable to the NCI, yung 116, di ba? Hindi to galing. So, yung non-controlling interest mo in net assets, 286,700, letter A. Number 16, ang pinapahanap naman sa atin, how much is the equity attributable to the owners of the parent? Equity attributable. Yeah. So, yun. Parents retained earnings, December 31, 2000 X1 is 316,000, di ba? Dito galing. Plus yung parents share in the net change in the subsidiaries net asset. So, paano yan? Di ba? Yung 116,750? Di ba? Yung ito? Oh, magkano dyan yung kay parent? Times 60%. Attributable sa kanya. 60%. Ito. So, 70,050. That is the parent share in the net change in the subsidiaries net assets. So, yan dito. 750. So, yan. Consolidated retained earnings is 386,050. Pero anong tinatanong sa number 16? How much is the equity? So, equity. So, kailangan may combine. So, yung 1,200,000 na kanyang share capital plus yung kanyang retained earnings, yeah, consolidated retained earnings, 386,050. O, yung owners of parent, yung equity, attributable sa kanya, 1,586,050. That is letter A. So, let's go to letter B. Letter B is 17. How much is the consolidated cost of sales? Yeah? Ngayon, cost of sales ni subsidiary and ni parent, di ba? 200,000 and 80K. Ngayon, take note, di ba may inventory tayo. Ang assumption sa inventory, nabenta siya for the year. Kapag ang inventory nabebenta, anong nangyayari? Nagiging cost of goods sold siya. Nagiging cost of sales. Ngayon, yung inventory natin, yung kanyang carrying amount is not the same sa kanyang fair value pagdating ng consolidation. Kasi as we have seen, di ba? Ang kanyang carrying amount is 144K. Pero ang kanyang fair value is only 96K. So may discrepancy of 48,000. So anong logic yan? Bigyan natin ng storya. Diba? Ang nakalagay sa iyong separate FS is 144K. Yeah? 144K. Ngayon, the moment na binenta mo yan, ang nakalagay sa iyong FS, yung sa iyong separate FS, 144K ang magiging cost of goods sold mo. Ang magiging cost of sales mo. Yeah? Pero pagdating ng consolidation, since ang ginamit mo is yung acquisition date fair value, yeah? Yung acquisition date fair value, may problema tayo. 96 yan eh. 96K yung fair value. So anong magiging assumption mo dyan? Anong magiging ending? Ibig sabihin, nasobrahan ka pagdating ng consolidation, nasobrahan ka ng pag-record sa cost of goods sold, sa cost of sales. So, kailangan mo mag-adjust. Yeah? Nasobrahan ka eh. So, paano ka mag-adjust? Anong number yun? Yun. Ito. Yeah? 280,000 minus the depreciation of 48K. Consolidated cost of sales. Yeah? The depreciation of FVA is deducted because the carrying amount exceeded the fair value. This is the opposite of the illustration in the text where the fair value exceeded the carrying amount. Yeah? Nasobrahan ka ng pag-record sa cost of sale. Yun lang yun. Kasi nga, ang na-record mo sa separate FS is 144 where in fact, it should only be 96. 96 ba yun? Tama ba yun? Oo. Di ba? Ito yung na-record mo. Pero hindi dapat yan. Dapat 96 pagdating ng consolidation. So, di ba? 96 dapat, hindi 144K. So, yung sobra mo, binawasan mo by 48K. Kaya ang magiging consolidated cost of sales mo na lang is 232 kasi dapat 96 ang ginamit. Di ba? Pagdating ng consolidation. So, that is letter 232, letter B. So, how much is the consolidated other operating expense? Ito, other operating expense naman. Diba? So, other operating expense. 400 plus 200. So, 600K. Ngayon, operating expense, nandyan yung depreciation ng building. So, same logic, same logic, same logic. Yung 1 to 50. Yeah? Yung 1 to 50. Same logic. Yeah? Ang nire-record mo, tag dito, ang nire-record mo, ulitin lang natin, di ba? Ang nire-record mo originally sa iyong separate FS is 30K. Pero pagdating ng consolidation, i-follow mo yung acquisition date fair value. So, magkakaroon ka ng adjustment. So, 250 na dapat yan divided by 8. So, 31,250 dapat instead of 30K lang. So, kailangan mong dagdagan. Hence, dito, hindi lang 600K yung iyong operating expense. Dagdagan mo yung kinulang na recording sa depreciation. Kasi, sa separate FS, ang ni-record mo lang is 30K. Pero dapat, pagdating ng consolidation, 31,025K na dapat yan. 31,250 na dapat yan. Yeah? So, kinulang ka ng 1 to 50. O, pasok mo dito. Para, consolidated other operating expenses mo, tama na. So, that's letter A. Okay, last step, consolidated profit or loss. So, profit of parent and subsidiary, 170 plus the depreciation of FBA. Diba? Yeah. So, step 1. Yun. Ito. So, ang consolidated profit mo, 216,750. So, yun. Ito yung distribution. Parents, profit before, 100. Of course, walang share yun si NCI. For parent lang yan. Ngayon, sa share in subsidiaries, profit before FBA, yun. Share na yun sila, 60-40. 42-28. Then, yung depreciation of the FBA, yung 46,750. Hati rin sila, 60-40. Ito yun. Yan ang totals. Okay. 216,750. Ano ba yung question? How much is the consolidated profit? 216,750. Letter A. And how is the consolidated profit attributed to the following? Kay owners of the parent and kay NCI, 170,050 and 46,700. That is letter D. So, yun. Yan lang. So, yan yung discussion natin for Quizignment number 4, BAPE7, Accounting versus Combination. Yun lang. Bye-bye. Love you.